Hi, good morning. Hello, all.
Are you
Hey,
talking to me?
fans. No, I'm talking to our fans first. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Shh. I'll be quiet.
Hey, everybody. Our special guest today, I'm really excited to bring him out.
Hey.
He's sitting there quietly. Oh, he's not quiet.
You know what I was just thinking is that like we're
What?
really not ready, or I don't think we'll ever be ready for a guest.
No, we're not polished enough for that.
we're not guest centric.
I have actually been
Even
up
though
at night thinking
no
this.
one has asked yet if they would like to
Yet.
be a guest.
No
Yeah.
one's asked yet.
But I'm looking forward to the day where we can say
Nope.
no.
Won't work. It's not the format. I truly thought that because this week we had some really fun social media traction to the point where I was like, could we invite this person on? And then I was like, no, I would freeze up. We could not.
I
invite this
love the
person on.
idea that one person wrote a really positive review and we're like, get him or her on.
Get him on the pod. Yeah, no, I mean, I've just been looking at Twitter. I've been looking
Really
at our recent
illogical.
follows. I'm just like, oh, we have like some options now. We don't. We have no options.
I would say that we're really trying to give everybody a little something something. So if you're a TikTok boy or girl, find us there. If you're on Instagram,
Please.
find us there. If you're on Twitter, find us there. It's a very variation on a familiar theme.
We'll
But
find all of the same content
All
in
of
each of
the
those
same
places.
content.
But we want to make sure you enjoy it where you're comfortable.
Where you're comfortable. Now, this did make me okay. In college, I used to really poo-poo people who would say that over the summer they were social media interns because I'm like, how hard could it be?
Yeah, I was like,
But
that's a bullshit fucking job.
But now I'm like,
It's
Wait.
like running you to the ground, right?
yeah, it's
It's
literally
hard. It's tough.
Yeah, we're building the airplane as we're flying it, as an adult would say. That's a really adult expression.
Yeah, I've tried to commit to my social media like more in the past, and it exactly feels like that. It's like once you post one, you're already behind on posting another.
Right.
So the social media game is really tough for me. It kind of really is about batching content, but I can't do that. I don't batch anything.
I will say this to give you a little, dear listeners, a little Wizard of Oz peek behind the curtain. If you are interacting with us on social media, it's me.
Steve.
And I'm very excited to talk to each and every one of you.
I never like flat out stated like I will not be doing that, but it very much was like Chanel will not be doing that.
When we were setting it up, you were like, "Oh, I don't like responding to comments," and I was like,
Oh.
"Okay, I guess that was your delegation."
That was me going, your job for you. I'm just
I
like,
love it though. I love.
You're
it.
so good at it because I get like triggered. If somebody has something not even negative to say, but if someone has anything critical to say or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah, well, even a critical question.
yeah, a critical question. And I hop into
did you consider
defense.
this? And it's like, oh,
And you're like, fuck you, dude. Give me the benefit of the doubt. So
you're lucky that I'm at the wheel. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
would.
Steven's driving the social media train. I get really like triggered and defensive, and you just respond like a sage, like a guru.
Which is
Like,
funny
it's
because
funny.
personally, I don't really have any social media, so it's like this is
True.
my outlet.
This is your persona online.
It's just me.
Guys, Steven took his existing Twitter account and transformed it into our podcast Twitter account, which I think is the best.
Well, because my original Twitter account was defunct about 6 years ago because it was hacked. And
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
yeah, it
well,
was hacked by, and we might have to bleep this, but it was hacked by.
I think I remember this. I think
Yeah,
I remember this. You actually
it was
were hacked.
hacked by an extremist group
Yeah, you were hacked like in a big way.
in a big way.
They were like, this guy's got reach. Let's go.
Yeah, so they were tweeting some really extreme messaging, so I had to just shut it down because
you had to
Twitter was
wipe it.
no help.
Oh yeah, no.
They were
don't-
like
don't
they were
care
like,
at all.
well, from where we're sitting, it looks like they're logging in the same area. And I'm like, what?
Do you not
it got to the-
understand hacking? Do I
And
need
then
to
it got to
explain this to you?
Yeah.
Allow me to explain.
Anyway,
Well, All this is
We
to
digress.
say, yeah, we're just having fun on the social medias. Talk to us. Steven's having so much fun responding to you guys on social media. I'm chiming in.
I'm down with it.
Steven loves it, so go troll him. And I'm making a fair amount of the content, or I'm trying. Okay, not that much of the content, but I'm making some content. So if you enjoyed it, I probably made it.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Steven makes stuff too. But yeah, we're having fun, and come talk to us. Write a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That's like our favorite. We love a review.
waking
Positive
up to
only.
a review is positive.
You woke up to a review.
If you have a
this week.
negative one, you can email it to us. How about that?
I'll funnel it to Steven
Yeah,
for a response, because he will respond.
I'll,
He will respond
probably in a minute.
very quickly. He's got his thumb is on the phone, ready to respond. So if you want a response,
That's right.
your guy. Oh man.
Speaking of your guy, as something a secretary from the 1960s would say, or my guy.
My guy. Down with love.
Welcome to 1962.
Welcome to 1962. Our guy and gal of honor, Ewan McGregor and Renee Zellweger.
Right.
But we're focusing on Renee Zellweger.
It's a Renee Zellweger. I couldn't,
Because men don't exist in our podcast.
except maybe Tom Cruise.
It's really funny that throughout space and time, and especially movie history, it really has been very male centric and male dominated, and we are refusing to look at them.
Well,
We're they don't exist.
Much like this movie, we're taking old time ideas and giving them a real modern flair.
Yep.
We're looking at it. Oh, you're doing a little remodeling. We're looking at it with modern eyes.
Like this movie attempts to do.
Right.
This week's movie was Down with Love. I think it was 2003, which
It was.
normally would enthrall me. But this is a period piece, so we're not in 2003. We are in 1962.
We're also still in 2003. A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We were pretty much in 2003, actually.
We're actually just playing dress up in 2003.
All the settings, costumes, backdrops are different, but it's very much 2003.
It's very 2003. So,
have you ever heard of this movie before? I have not.
the only time I'd ever heard of this movie is that one time Sarah Paulson, co-star of the movie, mentioned that when she got this movie, she was so enthusiastic because she thought oh my goodness, it's 2003. Renee Zellweger just did Chicago. I'm in this movie with her.
She's this is going to break
movie,
me through.
This is going to launch 1,000 ships. This is my star vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I had that thought watching it.
And it has all the elements of a hit. It really, I think when they made it, they really thought they were making something special.
Some of the parts, baby, I can't tell you how much better than the sum of the whole.
That's right. Now, I will go on record early on and say that I ended up really enjoying the movie a lot.
Okay.
Now, there were some dips in it, but I will say right off the bat that I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I'm at the place where I just was 2 seconds ago. Some of the parts are definitely greater than the sum of the whole. I can point out some amazing moments, line readings,
Right.
Truly world-class line readings. The costuming, oh
Beautiful.
my God. The backdrop work, the green screen work. Oh my God, it's so good. And
sets on sets on sets.
Yeah, and somehow it doesn't sour the whole, but I just don't remember the whole.
It's almost they made the most complicated cake in the world with all these fabulous
a lot of layers
ingredients, and then they pull it out of the oven and they're like, God damn it, who forgot to put the baking powder in? It's almost inedible. But every ingredient, if we could get them back, is
top of the line,
perfect.
World class.
They just forgot something.
Where? It's true. It's so interesting. This is a really interesting case study for us. I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah.
I'll read us the synopsis.
Okay, wonderful.
As I'm reading, we're going to lose our picture, but that's okay. Okay.
What?
It's Down with Love. It is 1962, and feminist Barbara Novak, Renee Zellweger, pens a best-selling book that details the drawbacks of love. She encourages women to forego serious relationships with men in favor of independence, workplace achievements, and satisfying sex. Despite her success, many men are taken aback by her progressive views, including slick writer Catcher Block, played by Ewan McGregor, who decides to expose Barbara as a fraud by making her fall in love with him. However, his plan has unexpected consequences. Ooh. That's so spot on.
And unexpected consequences it does.
That's really spot on.
Right.
Your summary really closely follows the movie. That's so weird. Okay.
So strange.
I
right off the
was
bat,
so excited to watch this.
Me too.
Okay.
The poster is so fun.
That's a world-class poster.
World-class poster. Renee is kind of standing askew, looking beautiful, and kind of giving a little wink to the audience. And right off the bat, and before the movie even starts, I know that this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Fun.
That's how I felt.
It was mostly fun, I will say.
They were really trying to drive the fun with that that backing track at all times. Yeah. They have this really fun, quirky. Let's say I know what they're doing. They're doing a parody. Like I just want to be seen as smart. Like I want no pushback here. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Just get it over with.
No, I mean we know what they're doing. We're not idiots.
Right.
We're smart. Okay. So this is parody. They're going for a parody of those like 1960s like hyper puritanical like pillow talkie type movies,
which I love.
Seen them all. Every single one. I was like, maybe I need to watch like 6 other films before I watch this one.
I was gonna say that like I bet that if we were more dialed in to films in the 1960s, I bet we would have enjoyed this even more, which is hard to believe, but I bet we would have.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is all style. I was so excited to watch them poke fun at that style. So we had that really fun, funky backing track the whole movie.
I will say though that the background track does become a little exhausting at times. I felt like I ran a marathon. Yeah, it's like watching Mad Max, like this pulsating score in the background that like punctuates every joke, every step, every smile, every action that they do is a corresponding note that is played.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I'm telling you that like, and because you watched 5 minutes and you texted me and you're like, okay, I'm exhausted. Does this scene, like does the music
stop?
And I was like, literally no, except for one scene where Rene Zellweger delivers a monologue is the only moment in the movie where there's silence.
Yeah, this really did a number on my brain. The movie's
like an hour 45, so that's a long time. Maybe it's an hour 50. That's a long time to be like being handheld by a score.
I was truly exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted.
Right.
And I did keep checking the runtime, like a lot. Because I was like, I don't know how much longer I can take this backing track.
Okay, but in the beginning it is fun, and when the movie opens and we see Renee, she looks stunning. She's wearing this pink and white dress. She's got a little pillbox hat on. She looks great.
She always understands the assignment. Always.
Right.
So good. At the beginning, you're not really you're just like, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and you're ready. So being like launched into this world in the beginning feels very fun. You're like, wow, music, wow, sights of New York City.
Yeah. It's like being shot out of a cannon. You're like, bam, in the 1960s.
A t-shirt cannon.
Yeah, very much a t-shirt cannon. that kind of speed and distance. So
the velocity will give you whiplash. You better be careful.
Yeah, right away we're in the 1960s. But I would say that this is not the 1960s of, say, Mad Men. Like when you watch
Mm-hmm.
Mad Men and when you get to the 60s seasons, it's a little bit more gritty and probably a little bit more realistic, words we don't like. But this is a very like pure,
Yeah.
clean, bright 1960s. There's no trash. There's no dirt.
Yeah.
Everything is
Everything is
sparkling.
shiny white.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. And
And that's
Paulson.
relaxing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're saying everything in Mad Men's like a little gritty, and I was like immediately reminded of like the amount of smoke in Mad Men, constant smoke, smoke, smoke. And that reminded me that Sarah Paulson busts out of the elevator in like a cloud of smoke. It's so nice. It's such a good little debut.
Busts out in a cloud of smoke, but like what you don't get in Mad Men is you don't get Renee's reaction, which is like hacking, coughing, and like.
That's what you want in Mad Men. Like half the time you want the other person to give like a little like
yeah,
you just don't
like
get
a
it.
little reality check. But
I
so
want to know what that feels like on the lung.
it can't be great. It can't be great.
Yeah. So Paulson busts out and she I feel like a star is born. I actually do feel that way. That's not me being like sly. Sarah Paulson
Sly.
is like the underground star for me in this too. Like I
Yeah.
really do think a star was born here. It's like I feel so bad that I don't feel bad. Her career took a long time to cook.
Right.
But
Listen, she definitely rehearsed, I will say that. And
she was letter perfect.
she nailed her voice. She has a lot of quips. She has a lot of facial reactions.
Yeah.
She showed up to work.
Sarah Paulson is doing the most in this movie, but it works. It works for me. I thought she was so good.
She's doing the most, and I think that you could make a case that it's borderline over the top in some cases, but I think it works because the movie is not grounded in any sense of reality at all in any way, shape, or form. Even though some of the characters might want it to, like, and maybe the director thought he was doing that at some points, but I think she nails the idea that, like, this is not real. This is artificial.
Yeah. She nails it the best for me. Like that, hyper quirky. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like that, like Brady Bunch 60s.
It's like, oh yeah, let me tell you something
what
about,
are you talking about?
publishing. Get in the
What do
elevator.
you mean? I set you up with a meeting with Catcher Block.
Catcher Block.
The names in this movie.
That was disgusting.
Wow.
Catcher. Ugh.
Catcher Block, Zip Martin, Barbara Novak. Like wow. All furthering the parody. Like I'm there.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, these are names that you would open up in an envelope at a theme party, like that the host would assign you. These are not. It's
a murder mystery party.
It's a murder mystery, and you're assigned Barbara Novak, the librarian,
Sexy librarian.
sexy librarian who has a secret.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So when Sarah Paulson meets her, though, they are going up to meet with the heads of the literary agency because Barbara Novak has written a book, Down with Love, which I guess the thesis of it is that women should start sleeping around like men and redefining those types of intimate relationships.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, sign me up. I'm on board.
Sign me. Now, I will say, okay, so they go up to the meeting, and of course, it's like a boardroom full of men. Renee's seen this,
Really funny.
This is good practice for her in Newentown. She knows how to navigate those white male conference rooms,
Those boardrooms.
But she gives a rundown of her book, and I thought to myself, this has the makings of a really good MLM.
We're really on that train right now.
She was like, first you enter stage 1. And then she went over the different stages. And then she's like, then you're ready for stage 2. And then she detailed what stage 2 was. And then you end in stage 3, where essentially you're just operating like a man and you're not thinking through who you're having intimate relationships with. Very Scientology. in terms of different levels, and you have to pay to reach them. Which I appreciate, by the way.
I love that sequence was really funny to me. I was like still so on board, and the subbing of the chocolate for sex, I was dead. That was so funny, to the point where every point in this movie where someone's nibbling on a piece of chocolate, I'm like, this is so funny.
It's also funny because this is where this like 2003 mentality first kind of like rears its ugly head, where it's like if women are doing their best, it's when they're embodying the worst parts of men. And I was like, oh, like that was the message.
This messaging really made a resurgence in the early 2000s. It's actually an almost perfect time for this movie to be made, because, okay, so this was, like I said, I haven't seen like Pillow Talk or whatever, but I did do a little research, and the plot points of those kinds of movies are like women are trying to be like men.
Right. And
it draws so many parallels to what we've been watching, those early 2000s movies where Sandra Bullock is like, what did I say? Like in Miss Congeniality, like the best feminism is when you're just acting like a boy. It's like, that's it. Be a man.
When she detailed her 3-pronged whatever approach to getting from A to B, I was like, oh, this is kind of played out a little bit. But I will say that, and we'll get there in a little bit, but by the time I got to the end of the movie, I actually really came to appreciate what she was saying in a slightly different context. But I will say right now, I was like, oh, it was kind of a lull though. I was like, there's nothing wrong with it, I guess is what is my point now. But I also was like, it's nothing new.
Yeah, I just saw it as like intense parody, and I feel like if I had any issue with the movie, it was like we never left Crazy Town, we never left Parody Town. Right. I love like a good skewering, but it's like there also has to be something else there, and we were in parody for so long that I was like, and I did read a review that was like, this feels like a bloated SNL sketch, and I'm like, I can see that. It's just like it's an hour and 40 of an SNL sketch.
Okay, funny you say that, because, so after the movie ends, and again, this is minor spoiler, but it's not a spoiler.
We're really skipping ahead.
There's a credit scene, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but all I wanted to do after I watched the movie is I went on YouTube because I wanted to watch the credit scene again because I liked it so much. So I'm watching the credit scene this morning as I'm making my instant oatmeal. Now, as unbeknownst to me, the clip ends, and it goes to the next suggested video, which... something I never do, but I got sucked in. It was a video called, I don't know, Behind the Scenes or Making of Down with Love.
Oh, and I want to see that.
Okay, pretty good. Now, here's when I knew the director had lost control of the ship.
The vehicle.
Was because he said this. He said, day one of shooting, we didn't shoot any scenes. All that I did was put our 4 characters in their costumes, and I just put them in front of a camera, and I said, let's play. And they all and he just showed this footage of them like dancing and like high-fiving and like smiling.
God.
And I was like, this is what happens in the High School Musical when like the lead is like, you know what, like we had a script and we knew what we wanted to do, but like once we had our costumes on, we just played.
The character just took over.
The character just took over. Yeah. You wouldn't know. And yeah, it's hard to explain because you wouldn't know until you put the costume on and the wig. But it just changes you.
It just happened.
And I was like, okay, they really are just playing around.
This is goofy.
It's goofy. And you can feel that goofiness pulsing through the movie.
Every frame. Every second.
I kind of think that Renee might have regretted that because she's not really a goof. And I bet that she had a moment where she was like, guys,
can we chill?
Because you had Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was probably glad just not to be on
Ewan.
A Star Wars set. And
Probably.
He was like, let's have some fun. Sarah Paulson was like, this is my big break. Like, I'm going to ham it up. And David Hyde Pierce is like, well, I'm known for being serious on Frasier, and I want to be cool. And Renee was like, well, I just did Chicago.
Perfect storm.
Chicago. And I just filmed Cold Mountain.
Yeah.
So
That's right. So Renee is fresh off of Chicago. Ewan McGregor is fresh off of Moulin Rouge. So they're really I think that's why they did that musical scene at the end. I think I read that because they wanted to bank on that.
Well, what's funny is as you're watching the movie, it felt like at a moment's notice, they could break out into song.
That was,
and
the
I was
vibe.
sort of,
Yes.
That's why when we get to the end, and I get, you can thank Chanel for spoiling it. I did a good job of not saying what it was. But when you get to the end and they do the musical song and dance,
you have to watch it. You got to watch it.
You just said it.
No, there's no spoiler involved in saying it's a musical number because
okay.
really watch it. It's magic.
It's magic. Okay. I'm not sure I follow. But you're right. It felt like we were a moment away from a song.
Yeah. Like a duo, like a hi guys.
Especially since music is literally coursing through the veins of the movie. And there are
like the cocaine of this film.
There are Judy Garland asides.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was cool.
And Renee was probably like, ooh, I could do that one day.
I think that like from minute 1 to about minute 40, because like the plot of the movie that like we're about to sign up for doesn't really happen until minute 40 at the dry cleaner.
Right.
It's a lot of really good wordplay, really good double entendre with the sock conversation.
This was my favorite section of the movie because there were these like fabulous split screens just showing the different experiences between men and women, but like not in the typical sense of like, oh, look at these women having terrible experiences versus men. Like it was a little bit more interesting than that. There was fabulous costumes. Sarah Paulson and Renee would just enter room after room, shedding these beautiful coats.
Oh, yes.
And revealing kind of contrasting, but also complimentary. Thank you for jumping in. Dresses.
You're welcome.
This was wonderful.
It's a feast for your eyes. It's fun.
It is. I would say all the senses.
Yeah.
We couldn't smell.
Really nice
but
CinemaScope, like crazy awesome aspect ratio. The driving scenes with that really funny projection
in
behind
the background.
them.
Yeah.
So fun, so funny. Love when it's a choice.
You know what I also loved about this is that, okay, when it said 1962, and I hate to alienate any viewers, but Chanel and I both took AP US history. And I was like, I was like, what happened in the early 60s? And what I loved about this movie is that they gave you all the information that you needed. Like I never felt alienated because I didn't know what was going on. Like they were like NASA, Richard Nixon lost to Kennedy, something else. Again, Richard Nixon again. He's everywhere.
Nixon makes an appearance and I screamed. I screamed. We might have to add that on a list of star vehicle tropes, like Nixon.
Apparently. You know what I also loved about this movie is the secretary work, because again, in all these other 60s movies, the secretary is like sleek and she's like picking up the phone and she's furiously typing. But what I loved about this movie is like the secretaries could barely do anything. Like
she's a real mess.
She was a mess. But I was like, this brings me back to being an intern, having to answer phones. And I was like,
I felt like that secretary.
I couldn't do it. And I was like, I hate watching movies where people are like typing with one hand and picking up the phone with another.
I know they're so good at their job.
If the phone rings and I'm at the desk, I have to stop typing and I stare at the phone. And then I'm like,
I'll wait a minimum of 4 rings.
Yeah, like maybe
psych myself up.
Maybe they
over the script.
Maybe they called the wrong number and they'll hang up.
I would like pray for that.
Yeah, that was always.
I would pick up the phone and be like, please let this be a bot. Yeah. Just let this be like a recorded message.
Dear Lord, give me a break, please.
Please, God,
give me a reprieve.
Yeah, I felt like the secretary, that was a funny. They're talking the double entendre with the socks being up and down and his garter holding it up.
There was a lot of funny, like, I guess the intercom was new. So there was a lot of funny intercom jokes of this.
Oh, that was me as an intern, where she's trying to be like, sure, got it, but she doesn't know which one to push. So she's like, sure, got it, yep, and then she just yells. That would be me. I would just yell to the next room. I did that so many times.
Moments like this were a highlight for the first section because it's like they were drawing upon like the allure of the 60s. But they were sort of breaking it down by showing like it really wasn't what you remember. Like it felt new, but like no one knew what they were doing. Like it was kind of a mess.
I appreciate that look behind the curtain because Mad Men will have you believe like everyone's on their A game.
Right.
There's no room for error. Like it's like do the job or be cut. Like it's really intense. So I love a goofy 60s time. I want to watch like a pillow talk now. Because the double entendre is so funny. So funny. But basically Renee's, and this is a long way to get to the next scene, minute 5 of the movie, is that Renee. So Renee's book is not embraced by men, and Sarah Paulson ends up getting her, I guess, on what's the Ed Sullivan Show. Yeah, how it happens just immediately.
Sarah Paulson looks at a sign for the Ed Sullivan Show, and she goes, "I have an idea." Cut to
they're on.
Her book is on the Ed Sullivan Show, and Judy Garland is singing a song related to the text.
Yeah, and it looked like real Judy Garland footage, right?
It did. I didn't look it up, but
I didn't look it up either. I won't. But
it was for sure a song. I wonder. It sounded lovely. Now the book takes off with women, and this was another funny scene where they cut to the same bookstore, but they just hang different cultural banners to let you know you're in different areas,
different countries. Oh, that was a lot.
This book is selling in France. It's selling in Siberia. It's selling in China.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, with the different language on the title. Oh, it was. I appreciate that.
Did you watch Sex and the City?
No.
Okay, so you don't remember when Sarah Jessica Parker goes to France and she sees her book is there translated in a different language and she just has a moment.
I loved before they got on the Ed Sullivan Show when they bring her to the bookstore and her book is there's just one in the bookstore. That was such a funny.
Oh my God, that was really funny.
And she's like, wait, one? And Sarah Paulson's like, yeah. And then she's like, well, if someone buys it, then there's going to be none. And Sarah's like, well, at the other bookstore across town, there's also one.
There's a one.
It was so funny. I was so down. Yeah, so that beginning section is fun.
I want down with love merch. I would wear like a crew neck sweatshirt.
I want a poster. That poster is beautiful.
It's stunning.
Yeah, I would wear down with love merch for sure. And then someone in public would be like, wait, you stand too? And I'd be like, well, the outfits are nice.
Not everything.
not every piece. I'm so team Sarah Paulson in this. It's not even funny. That was the first moment I had the thought, Sarah Paulson, this is groundbreaking. Sarah Paulson could have had Julia Roberts' career, I think, with the same opportunities as Julia Roberts.
I mean, it's
how I feel.
It's the perfect best friend launching pad, but I don't think there were enough eyes on this movie to...
Not even close.
And you know what I really respected about her choices in this movie is that basically all of her scenes are filmed with Renee. And Renee is not committing to kind of the level of camp that Sarah Paulson is doing. And I feel like if I was Sarah Paulson and I was in a scene with Renee, big movie star, and she was not meeting my energy, I would probably stop and like meet her energy.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. I would be intimidated. So I was kind of like, yes. I was like, I'm as impressed with her kind of commitment to clearly the choice that she made on day one and was like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, I had that exact thought too. I was like, we're not both doing that? Oh, okay. Wait, let me chill.
Because they are...
And then I would back down.
Ewan McGregor and David I. Pierce are definitely operating on the same level. Like they are doing the same kind of...
Yeah, the same shtick.
Speed. But Renee and Sarah aren't necessarily matching.
Yeah.
They're both doing 60s-ish, but they're not the same speed.
Renee is giving those like Kim Novak like looks. She's like... And
She does
Sarah
a lot of
Paulson is
pouting.
Sarah Paulson's giving the sound and the feel and like the physicality. I mean, because I know that there are very little like things by accident in movies, I also am wondering if like the director was like, come on, Sarah, camp it up. You're the best friend. Let's go. Wait,
Yeah,
oh my God.
maybe.
This is a major backtrack, but like I said, these parts kill me. Sarah Paulson at the meeting, all the men ask her to make coffee. It's so
Oh my
good.
God.
She's like she's like fully sits at the meeting, and then the man's like, do you have any coffee? And Sarah's like, no. And he's like, okay, well, if you're making a pot, I'll have some. And then they're like, well, if you're making a pot, I'll have some.
Cringe.
That was so cringe and so funny. I have had that done to me.
Oh. Sorry.
My parents' house had an espresso machine, and like we would go there for lunch in high school, and a lot of like the friends in my friend, like the people in my friend group would be like, are you making, because I'll have. I was like, is that a suggestion or?
That's an order, sweetie.
That's an order.
And hey, girl, why don't you make one for yourself while you're up there too?
Yeah, treat yourself. That's was all. You know what? You're illuminating for me. This movie felt like being an intern. Because I remember that. They'd be like, oh, Chanel, you're going out. You want to get like just 18 Starbucks for the office? One time they go, because I worked like on a kitchen set, they'd go, take a sheet pan. Do you know those like cake sheet pans? Like a full fucking sheet pan. They go, take a sheet pan so you can carry back the Starbucks. And I carried back 18.
Make your life easier for you, sweetheart.
Yeah, it'll be a lot easier for you if you just take a sheet pan, a metal, heavy sheet pan, stainless steel. Take it there. It'll be so easy.
So embarrassing.
Carry it the casual 1/3 mile.
Is so embarrassing.
Isn't that horrible? And then they'd go, and while you're there, get yourself one. And it would be like, am I really about to add another grande latte to this fucking platter? No.
That'll be the one that spills, and you'll ruin the whole apple cart, so to speak.
With the theme of the proposal, I would like double someone's order on there.
Oh yeah.
So that if it spilled, that was so embarrassing and horrible. Okay, I don't remember why because of the coffee bit. Okay,
yeah.
So we can move on.
I think we're at a good place to hit kind of the first third marker, but basically Ewan McGregor he doesn't work at the publishing house. He has a magazine, and he was initially going to promise to plug the book, but he dips out because he doesn't agree with the feminist messaging, and he just doesn't want to be a part of it because it goes in contrast to the messaging of his magazine.
Do you want to know what I got from that?
What?
He thought she'd be ugly. That's like all I got from that.
Oh, well, he does have a fear.
She's a spinster, and he's like, there's going to be no eye candy, so I'm not coming.
She's a spinster librarian, so he's also kind of like, ew. So
I'm
he
not
doesn't.
Going.
You're right. Thank you for remembering that.
I had to clarify.
But anyway, he then decides that he will meet with her, but he's not going to meet as himself. He's going to meet as like an undercover person because he wants to prove to the world that Barbara Novak doesn't follow
a sham.
Her own message.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of espresso machines.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. What is that?
Cleaning itself.
Oh, I was like, is Miguel making a coffee? Because that's a power move right now.
No, that would not be okay.
We're like recording, and he's like,
Turns the hairdryer on. Okay.
Yeah, so Catcher sees Barbara everywhere, and he's like, wow, wait, you didn't tell me she was hot, Peter, you fucking idiot. The best friend work on that side. He's like, you're a failure. So he's like, you told me she was a spinster. So then he's like, and his plot to do this is not clear at all.
No.
He goes into he sees her walk into the same laundromat. He goes in, and very much in real time with him, you see him making up this elaborate ruse to pose as a Zip Martin, another great name.
An astronaut.
An astronaut. And I want to say he says at some point, Earth is still my favorite planet.
It's funny.
Which is very funny. So Barbara falls for it.
Baba.
Baba.
Yeah.
Barbara falls for it. And they go on like a series of really fun dates with really fun like superimposed images.
They go to see all the shows.
All the shows. All of
Bye
them.
Bye Birdie.
Yes, the love. Bye Bye Birdie.
I can't remember the other ones.
Can't remember the other one. They go to a baseball game.
They see shows of the day. Let's just say that.
Shows of the times. And it's like very fun stock footage. It's very fun like superimposed images of the shows. Green screeny. Very fun. Super fun.
Oh, yeah. They're having the time of their lives.
Yeah. And it's minute 40 of the movie.
Yeah.
So this
Interesting pacing.
This starts pretty late.
Right.
And the innuendo montage where it's like a split screen and they're doing like tons of sexual innuendos. And
with the telescope?
I don't know about the telescope.
Remember, she was like,
oh, that was a good innuendo.
Used such a powerful instrument before.
Yeah. And it's like you just hear it and then it cuts to and she's looking at the moon through a telescope. That was really fun. No, I'm talking about the sexy innuendo when they're both on the phone with each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we're in split screen right now. And like the beginning of her screen and his screen look like they're doing sexy acts. But
they're not though.
They're not at all. And then like they'll roll onto the floor. He rolls onto the floor and then the screen stacks. And it looks like they're like doing stuff.
Doing other things, but they don't. If you're looking for an inappropriate scene in the proposal where two bodies are rubbing up against each other,
sandwiched on top,
not gonna happen here. Which I liked,
but they're gonna really. I knew you liked this because you love modesty.
I love modesty. It didn't force me to do.
Steven loves modest women,
especially and men. But as we're getting into October, which is always a difficult month for me because I don't like scary things.
Why?
I don't like scary things. I don't like violence. I don't like explicit content.
That's so funny.
So it's like I really loved the modesty of this and the double entendres.
Really yeah, because they are saying some pretty gross stuff.
Pretty gross things.
But then when they cut to and you realize it's a telescope, you're like, oh my God, they got me.
Okay, but this was a really fun section though because essentially what's going on is Ewan McGregor is going to take a woman down and expose her as a liar, which is, they don't say that explicitly, but that's really what's going on.
Yeah.
Is that I don't like her, so I'm going to expose her or at least trick her at the very least into going against her own messaging. Mm-hmm. Because he feels like he can seduce her and have herself go against her beliefs that she's espousing in this book.
Yeah,
but he also settles on the idea that I'll just record her saying something dumb and then I'll release that too. So it's not like
the recording gear comes out. It's so
funny. He's got a few options he's presented to himself.
Yeah. He's like, however this pans out, I'll get my footage. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this all kind of like their dates and everything kind of comes to a head. I loved. Oh, she's ready to go to bed with him, and he calls her a cab because he's tired.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Oh, I said I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I called you a car." I love that.
Classic.
That's a real power move. I would love to do that to someone.
Yeah.
You want to go to
and
bed?
Renee wasn't having it.
She was pissed. or you think because there's
okay. I can't do those mental gymnastics yet.
You can never get back the first time you watch this movie. Let me just say, you'll never get it back because once you know the end.
That is a good point. If you have not watched this movie yet, I would
really
recommend
savor that first watch.
Savor it because you'll
never get it back. It's like The Sixth Sense. You're like, oh, we know the twist.
Yeah,
we know the twist ending.
It's even more twisty than The Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is child's play. This was
Sixth Sense is basic, just
so basic,
elementary. This is advanced mental gymnastics.
Advanced twisties.
Yeah, because so she leaves that scene. And
there are so many like not failed, but this whole section is just date after date after date with her basically wanting to engage in inappropriate behavior with Ewan McGregor, and he shuts her down. So it's like multiple scenes of like, no. No.
And they're really doing that gender bendy thing where they're trying to be like, look, Renee is acting like a man. She wants it. And Zip is acting like a woman. He's like, let's wait.
Right.
And they're really hoping that you'll get that. They're really hoping you'll get that, like, that bendy thing. They're like, look how smart we are.
So they thought, okay, guys, we can either do one date where we do this or we do 7. So let's do 7, just in case they don't get it.
7 or 9. If you count all the marquees of shows they might have seen.
So, it's a lot. Like this section is very repetitive in the sense that like we get the same dynamic over and over and over again until you're right. Until there's like this one night and we know it's going to be something special because there is another split screen as they're getting ready. And I love this scene where Renee is dancing to Fly Me to the Moon when she gets out of the tub. Is that for this date, like the transformative one?
So I kind of skipped us ahead because right at the call you a cab date, she then goes to the party at Real Zip's apartment or Catcher's apartment, and that's where she catches him. But I know what you mean, her dancing scene in that beautiful apartment with the huge NYC backdrop.
Yeah, it was really stunning.
Yeah, that was so stunning. I loved the backdrop work in this. Like, I would pay to have that curtain just in my room. The backdrops are beautiful. The moon.
Her apartment was stunning.
Oh, so stunning. Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of inadvertently brought us to like that crux moment where she goes back to Catcher's apartment and he shows up. She goes to throw her coat on the bed and she goes, "That's right." She goes, "Catch." And he goes, "Yeah." And then she catches him in the act.
With a flight attendant, no less.
With a floozy flight attendant.
And she's like,
oh my God, Zip.
And she scurries out of there.
Yeah, she scurries out. And then this part is super muddy to me, in maybe a problematic way. He somehow convinces her that he wasn't with the flight attendant at all. And it was like research or something.
It's strange because he chases her out of the party and then on the street. And for the life of me, I really can't remember what he says. But they end up leaving at the end of the conversation,
they're back on. They're fully back on.
And Renee was kind of like, oh, I wouldn't want you to feel like I was whatever, like not judging you, but just like she ends up apologizing. And this scene is so confusing because you're right. Like she literally just saw him
on top of a woman. Yeah.
But she ends up apologizing and he sort of ends up apologizing and it's very confusing, and I think it actually makes sense once we find out the Sixth Sense twist.
Yeah, this makes sense on the second watch.
But in the moment,
you're like, this
is like, wait, like what are we doing here?
Like this strong, confident, powerful woman who wrote like an anti-love book just took back the man. Where is she? That's an even better sum up of the moment. Where is she?
But
she's gone.
They get
back together.
They get right back together. And
I think they kiss at this point.
I think so.
An hour 19. They kiss. I wrote it down. I thought it was funny.
Now, how does she end up? How do we get to the climax?
Or wait, okay, yeah, they don't kiss there. I lied. So, okay. So then they're kind of like back on.
They're back
and
on.
And then is the very next scene where she does the reveal, the 3-minute silent monologue?
No, here's what it is. Remember?
Let's hear it.
So basically, he says that since they were at Catcher's apartment, he says that he knows him and they're gonna arrange for Catcher to meet at Zip's apartment, and she'll finally get her interview or she'll finally get whatever. So he brings her back to the apartment. Yeah. And of course, Catcher isn't there because he's already there.
And then how does the reveal happen? She just...
No.
Oh,
then
he
the
goes
flight
to trap
attendant,
her.
No.
Oh, yeah, the flight attendant
comes to the apartment, outs him as Catcher.
She's like, oh my God, Catch. Okay, yes, now I remember.
And then Renee feigns shock.
Yeah, she's like,
and
what?
then all of a sudden, the screeching soundtrack comes to a halt and Renee delivers the classic star vehicle like
speech
monologue.
Yeah. And I finally could take a breath. Like
my ears popped. Like I was like like I finally, it's like you're descending from a plane.
Plane was back on the ground. And everyone was clapping. And my
is
ears relieved.
It is a shocking scene because number one, the camera stays focused on Renee.
There's
cuts. No cuts to him at all.
It's 3
so
minutes.
She delivers like you're right. It's like a 3-minute monologue and you don't see his reaction at all. And in her monologue, which is very confusing.
Yeah.
What you expect is that she's going to be like, I can't believe you would do this to me. Like, I really was falling in love for you. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
But that's not what happens.
That's not
what happened.
No.
So,
no, it was really... This like really took the wind out of my sails because I was ready to start winding down on this movie. Like I was ready for it to start just like the falling action. I was ready to
I thought they were just going to end up together and that was it.
Yeah, I was ready to chill. And what we got was like this really convoluted, like Clue-esque Deus Machina ending where she's like, and then I decided, so basically we just find, wait, we should spoil it.
I think what you need to do is just say who she is and what she did.
You come to find out that she is not Barbara Novak. She is a Nancy Brown who was Catcher's.
She looks like a Nancy.
She does look like a Nancy. She was Catcher's secretary for 3 weeks, wherein that 3 weeks she fell in love with him, but she knew his ways and she knew his antics and she knew that she could never have him. So she knew that she had to come up with an elaborate ruse and an elaborate plan to pen a best-selling book to get her enough attention to the point where he would maybe want to interview her or see her and want to fall for her. And so like he tries to like get her. He tries to do a gotcha and she gotchas him back.
She gotchas him.
She gotchas him, which actually to me is kind of relieving because in this gender bending movie where the women are acting like men and the men are acting like women, I didn't really want to see this man get her. So the fact that she gotchas.
Yeah.
It was shocking, confusing, and then I was like, oh, I like that. When she gave the monologue, number one, I had no clue what she was saying. Me too.
But then once I actually digested what she was saying, this is where I actually came to appreciate the movie so much more because what I liked about it is that what she was saying is that I was in control the whole time.
Yes.
And it's easy. It's easy. The easy way out is to be like, oh, she did all this to get back with him. She's desperate. But that's a lay person's viewing. What I liked about it is that she was like, I picked all these costumes. I picked out this name. I picked out would come to see a new hairstyle. I created this whole illusion and you fell for it.
Yes.
Like, how crazy is that? Like, you think you know the world, but you couldn't even figure. So when she said this, I was like, okay, maybe this movie is trying to give something new.
Yeah.
Which is that, like, it's not just that women here are being told to just like be the worst part about men. It's also this added layer of like, no, like you're also in control of your whole reality and like what you project out onto the world. And I thought that was nice.
Doing the mental gymnastics right now is actually really confusing and like hurting my brain. But yes.
It's confusing. It is confusing.
At bottom line, I remember just being like, okay, wow, thank God that she is in the power seat. Like you said, like she had the control all along. I'm like, oh, yeah, thank God, because I didn't want to see Renee Zellweger get like swindled, you know? It was...
Well, then it was just going to be a stupid movie. Yeah, because then it was like, what? There is no message.
Then it would have been a stupid movie if that were true. Then it would have been stupid.
Yeah, but I was like, this is kind of interesting.
I was like, okay,
I found.
Yeah, no, I feel like if we had better references for source material too, we might have been like, okay, this is like her femme fatale moment maybe, where she's like, actually, it was me all along. And I like that he hired the private investigator, and in that moment, the private investigator calls, and he's like, there's no Barbara Novak.
Yeah, it's like, thanks, dude.
There's only Nancy. And I was like, well, we already got that info, but thank you.
Right, exactly. Like typically in these movies, that would have been like the climax is the PI calling to be like, this chick is wild. You need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. So after that speech, she truly is like, I am done with you. I am now down with love. I've conquered love. I'm not in love with you anymore.
She reached level 3.
She achieved level 3 status after a lot of chocolate, by the way. There's a lot of chocolate eating in this movie.
That's right.
And he, for the first time, is like, wait, oh my God. It's like the tables have turned. Now he's heartbroken. And she walks and she becomes like the bad bitch businesswoman that she is. She starts her own magazine, right?
Right.
She does her own expose on herself, how Nancy whatever became Barbara Novak. We see that on a magazine cover.
Yeah.
And yeah, Now magazine. I'm like, I wrote, good for her.
Good for her. Listen, she finds office space pretty quickly, and she's wearing packed it out. She looks stunning. She's wearing this white coat, this white turban.
The turban, yeah. I feel like that was very Judy Garland at the time. Like they wore that.
She looked You're right. It's important that she exposes herself, and not even exposes. Like she controls the narrative.
She controls the narrative, which I love.
And it's not an expose. It's very much like.
It's just a good story.
It's boss babe energy.
It's boss babe energy. It's a good story. And like every good news reporter, we know this from Scream, you manufacture your own like drama. You manufacture your own story. So she like lived out this whole ruse. She gets in front of the crazy. She got in front of it. She Kris Jennered it.
Yeah.
She got ahead of her own PR.
Yeah.
Took control of the narrative. And so Catcher is like feeling all downtrodden in his like realm and his magazine. And his buddy Peter, like Catcher's like, okay, now I want to do the interview for her, like in a very real way. Like I want to do a very earnest time. And Peter's like, bitch, like she already got it. She already did it. But
too late.
Oh, okay. Before we wrap up the punchline ending, I just want to say the Down with Love chocolate bit, very funny. They get into confections.
They become chocolatiers.
And Rachel Dratch gives
I almost forgot about Rachel Dratch.
I know, we almost like went the whole movie without mentioning her because
good.
Her first like cameo in the beginning, I was like,
well, she's in the movie for 2 minutes, but
2 seconds.
But
she did a day
1 minute, 1 minute in the beginning and 1 minute at the end. And those are really good minutes.
They're like, oh my God, Gladys, you look great. Because in the beginning she's kind of frumpy, and then she has like a come up, and she goes, yeah, like I really took your advice. And now she goes, the only man who could have his way with me is Milton Hershey.
Oh, that was funny.
That was so funny. And they're all eating Down with Love chocolate.
Yeah.
And they're like thriving in their new like Now magazine. Sarah Paulson is like head bitch in charge. It's great.
Yeah.
And we come to find out that Renee Zellweger, Barbara Novak, Nancy has put an ad out for a new assistant, right?
She's put an ad out in the new assistant in some sort of like equal opportunity hiring bulletin.
I know. I'm like, did she just write that?
They make a point to say it twice, so that's the only reason we're bringing it up. But they were like, so anyway,
it's like the penny saver, and then it's like you have to scroll to equal opportunity employer, and then you find it.
Maybe this was like really current legislation, but it's very important to say that she's looking for anyone. So be he a he or she a she. Mm-hmm. And that day they're going to do interviews, and they're swamped. There's a line around the block. But there's someone in the front of the line.
Yeah, he gets to cut. Oh, he.
Okay, it's a he, and it's Ewan McGregor, and he's here to apply for a job.
For the job, and that is truly the funniest.
For a secretary position, let's just say.
A secretary position. More double entendre. He goes, "I'd love a position under a woman." Oh. Great.
Come on, Chanel. No.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Shan. And he's a new man now. I thought it was very funny that she goes, this position doesn't pay like your old one. And he goes, that's fine. I'm ready to work my way up. And she goes, you're going to take a 96% pay cut? It's a lot.
It's funny though, because you're watching the interview and you're just waiting for them to reconcile, and they do those funny bits. And then she literally is like, not going to work. Thanks. And she just slides his resume back to him.
Yeah, and then he has to have a speech moment, like a reconcile, earnest, I'm a changed man moment.
Absolutely. And
yeah, so they don't reconcile then and there. He leaves the office, right?
He leaves, and he does, and we've seen this before. Whenever he walks away from a woman, he always goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then
normally the woman,
the flight attendant's there.
He just turns around, and now everyone in the office is looking like,
try again.
Try again, and you're talking to yourself.
You look kind of insane.
You look kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's like a fake out. It's a fake out.
Because, well, this also didn't make any sense. He goes to the elevator, which is, you can only get there in a straight line from Renee Zellweger's office. And he pushes the button to leave. And defying the law of physics and gravity, Renee Zellweger is already in the elevator.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I thought she comes from behind him.
No, she was in the elevator, and she like takes her turban off.
Oh, am I misremembering this ending?
And
are you sure? You're sure?
Yes.
You might have to apologize for this next week, so make sure you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, I don't remember that. Sure. I was like dozing last night. I was like, oh, come on.
So anyway, the elevator door opens, and she might have been behind him or in front of him.
Yeah, she might have tapped him on the shoulder or already been in there. And I actually think it's a more fun choice if she was already in there.
I think she was in the elevator.
Okay, well,
because
remains to be seen.
She takes her white turban off, and out flows luscious red locks.
Oh yeah,
she's a redhead.
I was holding for the siren to see further reveal.
Oh.
Yeah. There.
I think it kind of punctuates the reveal.
You're right. It's very dramatic. Is there some sort of like her old self was a brunette, and he didn't give her one passing glance when she was his secretary for 3 weeks. Her Barbara self was a blonde, and then something about the reveal of the turban. It's like, is it like this is the real me or something? Like, and she's a redhead. Like that was the messaging, I guess.
Well, I think what they were saying is that she was like, she was saying like, you have ideas about blondes and you have ideas about brunettes, but like, I'm a redhead.
Here's a challenge for you.
I think it was a very simplistic way of saying like, I'm new.
Yeah, we're all
and you
new.
don't understand this, and that's okay because you're still physically attracted to her.
Yeah.
But I think the idea was that like, she's new and she's different.
Yeah, he's a changed man, she's a changed man. Question, does he get the job? I don't remember.
Unclear.
I think no.
They do find their way to the roof.
Okay.
And they hop on the ladder of a helicopter.
Yeah, he's like, let's get married right now. I don't want to lose you again. And then the helicopter comes down and it says Vegas, like Vegas bound.
Yeah.
And she goes, Vegas? And he goes, yeah, we can get married immediately. I really don't want to wait. Like, I don't want to lose you again. And then they hop on the ladder and they green screen fly through New York City. And it's very fun.
It's cute. And I mean, they're literally flying away as they're holding on to this ladder. So it's I like the way that the movie ended because it ended completely unrealistic. Like in the sense that of course they would be dead. So it's like
that's what we were building. We were building a really unrealistic, campy, heightened reality. So it made total sense. I was like, okay, this is a soundstage. We love it. They're on cables. There's a lot of cable work in this.
Yeah, and like when the movie ended, I really came to enjoy the movie more and more as I was watching it, and I was like, I think what the movie is allowing you to do is like you can still judge her choices and like judge her still wanting to be with this guy. That's okay, but like I think what the movie's also saying is that like she also deserves some respect for at least creating this situation for herself.
Yeah. I can get there in a couple more days, maybe.
It takes a lot of thinking. This is a thinking man.
It takes a lot.
Sorry, this is a thinking woman's thinking person's movie.
It's a flick for a modern woman. I maybe needed more days in between. Like I watched this last night and I just remember being really tired. Like I just wanted to close my eyes so bad. Not because the movie's bad, because I was literally just tired. And I remember closing my eyes and just hearing like so many fucking speeches. Just like first her speech, his speech, speech. I'm like, wrap it up.
I think that compared to, say, The Proposal or New in Town, this movie demands a lot more from the audience than some of the other movies that we've watched. So I agree that, like, when I put it on, I was like, okay, I've got it. It's a stylized 1960s romp. It's going to be playful. It's going to be double entendres. But you're going to be really lost in the third act if you're really not paying attention, because those
Christopher
speeches,
Nolan wrote this movie.
Yeah, this is the Tenay of the 1960s.
Tenay. Yeah, I mean, on the whole, I can really look back on so many moments and laugh and like be so fond of them. Sarah Paulson and Peter's relationship, which, you know, it's hard to talk about in this podcast, like get it all in this hour and a half that we're together. But the Peter Sarah Paulson storyline was pretty funny, really good use of the best friend, really good use of the swapping of the tropes.
Right.
When Peter feels used because Vicky just wanted him for sex. Very funny. He's like, I feel used.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about everything in the movie because so much of the movie is these like split screen compare contrast scenes. So
it's like
it really is a movie that's best viewed with your eyes. Like you can't. It's
you're gonna have to turn this off and go watch it.
You're gonna have to watch it because I think that there's something for everyone. There's a way in for everybody.
Yeah. There was something to look at for me. The costuming, the New York City skylines, Sarah Paulson's star-making performance. Like there's something for everyone. You'll be happy. Go watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Don't take our word for it. I started this movie on YouTube because it was free for a while on YouTube.
Oh, we forgot to plug.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's really funny because this is gonna let you know where you can watch it. So I watched it.
Okay, thanks.
I started it September 30th on YouTube, and then when I went to go to the same browser to the same spot to click back into it, it was October 1st at this point, and it was no longer available. So I panicked.
Me too.
I straight up panicked. I was like, "Wait, what? I'm not paying for this."
No.
And then it has since moved to HBO Max.
We operate with kind of the same philosophy as Oprah's favorite things. Like Oprah doesn't pay for any of the favorite things because they have to be donated. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if Oprah pays for it, then that's giving some people a leg up. We're not going to be paying for these movies, but we will be consuming them free through services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Thank
this
God
one was donated probably
by HBO Max.
Yeah, this one was donated by my mom who pays for HBO Max. Same. Thank you.
Thanks. But yeah, thank God it shifted to HBO Max. It did make me wonder though. Nervous. Do you think there had to be at least one other person on the planet who also was in the midst of watching Down with Love on YouTube, and then they went to log in? They're like, God damn it.
I love thinking about that.
There had to be at least one person, right?
Right? In the history, in the context of the whole world,
has to be.
Someone else was doing what we were doing.
Because when I sent you the link like a week ago, I was like, oh, it's perfect. It's on YouTube with ads.
For free.
Yeah. And I was like, when I went to go watch it on October 1st and it wasn't there, I was like, in what world? Like...
Where do you get off taking away this free movie from me? Yeah. I was pissed.
I really felt like, I felt like that was mine, and someone took it away from. I felt like we were being set up.
Yeah, no, it felt like a real punking, and like
I was like, are we being bugged?
Yeah, and I was in the browser, and it did play for like I hit enter, and it did play for like 2 more seconds, and then it cut out on me, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, you were in the mainframe for a little bit, and they were like.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe if I don't like navigate away from this page, I'll still get it. So I'm refreshing, nothing.
No.
I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Really?
Thank God.
And then you texted me, it's on HBO Max. And
it is funny to think about also in the sense that like, okay, these movies, they do move around, you know, based on different licensing deals or whatever. I just love that there were probably no less than 10 emails back and forth at HBO Max being like, hey, are we still good to move Down with Love to HBO Max on October 1. Yes, confirmed, moving it over. Hey, just checking up. Want to confirm that Down with Love is now available as per the agreement. Like, that happened.
That's my favorite little role play. But I know it was probably bundled like in with other like 20th Century Fox movies. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a Regency movie, but
Regency. Okay, I like your version of it better. But I bet it was part of a bundle.
Individually checking up on Down with Love.
Like they're brokers and bidders, and they're like, "Well,
hey, it's 12. It's 12:01. I just refreshed the page. Didn't see Down with Love. Please hit."
We would really like Down with Love.
Yeah.
For our platform, and they're like, "Well, you're gonna have to fight for it from YouTube."
So does YouTube. YouTube wants it real bad.
Yeah, because it's free right now on YouTube, so you're gonna have to come up with a real good deal to get it.
What can you offer us?
They're like, we'll give you a nickel. Sold.
Yeah. So
that is fun.
That was really scary, but
yeah, I had a panic. I like panicked a little.
Again, we're more than happy to offer this free service of letting you know where they watch it, but this is a good cautionary tale to let you know that things change, and we will not be held responsible for these contractual changes. We will not be held responsible for it.
Mm-hmm. We have to mention it to absolve us of like any legal recourse.
Legally, we're not going to get ourselves in that situation where we're going to be. So
if you're ever watching something on the crux of like the end of a month to the beginning of a month, and it's like on or around midnight, you better be careful. You better be careful. I gave myself a real talking to last night. I was like, "You idiot! You should have you should have finished this yesterday." I was like, "You're so stupid."
Well, when I did see that when it was gone, I was like, "Oh darn it!" Because I did really want to see it, and I was like, I wanted to do another Renee movie, and
I was about to change the movie on you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to watch Cold Mountain. I want to watch Down with Love.
I was about to be like, "Oh, sorry, we can't. Got to pick something new."
But thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. Now, I feel good. I feel good. We can put the movie away, but like in terms of what we've seen of Renee Zellweger, it's like,
I'm going to say this. I don't think that this necessarily was the right movie for her. And
yeah, maybe not.
I think that they really wanted to get her for the movie because again, it's 2003. She's an uber star. She just did Chicago. Like you were saying, Ewan McGregor just did Moulin Rouge. Like, this movie has a musical component to it that I think they're trying to capitalize on a little bit, especially with the credits scene where they do sing and dance. I felt like the beat and the pacing of the movie just didn't play to her strengths.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair. I just am like, because I'm always trying to look for trends across movies, and I'm like, when you cast,
you're a big trend forecaster.
I'm a weather person. Sorry, rain incoming. No, I'm like, okay, so we have Renee Zellweger's so interesting and like difficult for me to place. Like she is, for all intents and purposes, like a serious actress. I don't know why I think that. Maybe because Cold Mountain, honestly. Cold Mountain really got me.
I mean, I think she's serious.
Yeah, she's like a serious actress. So when we watch her in New in Town, you're like, okay, yeah, they wanted to get butts in seats. And same with this one. I think this was even an indie film or something because it did premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival, I think. So it was like it was a festival film, but they clearly thought that these two names would be enough of a draw to get butts in seats, and it premiered opposite. Oh my God, it was I'm gonna have to look it up. They put it out to go head to head with like an insanely big movie this year.
I think I read that it was The Matrix Reloaded.
Yes.
It came out the same weekend as The Matrix Reloaded.
It was,
which is funny. It's funny. I mean.
So funny.
I'd like to meet somebody that saw both movies in the theaters that weekend.
Me too. It was put
I don't want to choose.
head to head against Matrix Reloaded. And
like,
they were like,
come on. What were they thinking?
This is a real choice I'm going to have to make.
It's like...
Those kind of comparisons make me die.
Wives, go see this. Husbands, go to The Matrix.
Wait, actually, that's so smart because that used to happen in my family.
A little split.
Yeah. My mom and dad would be like, we're seeing Mission Impossible. And I'd be like, well, I'm going to the new Jennifer Lawrence film, so have fun.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to see Joy. Enjoy yourselves.
That's a movie we won't be doing.
We probably should do it. No, it's a little bit of a snooze.
Maybe we'll do it at some point. Anyway.
I'm not hung up on that.
It is interesting in the context of, I think to place this movie up against something like The Matrix Reloaded is also saying something about
gender, men and
how
women.
strong you feel about your movie. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I would love to meet real down with love heads. Like people who like will go to bat for this movie.
I would.
You would go to bat for this movie?
I think that the movie is successful in what it's trying to do. I think that it has some bumps along the way, but I will give this movie a lot of points for trying.
Okay, I'm with you on that. From here until the day I die, I'll probably be YouTubing scenes from this movie. Like I will go back and rewatch scenes. I love doing that. I love like finding my favorite scenes and just rewatching them. And I will be looking, like I'll look at the musical number again.
Oh, absolutely.
I will go back, and there's such good line readings in here that I would recommend it for that. Sarah Paulson, I wrote one of her lines, "You're a hit. You're bigger than the pill."
In a similar sense of like, I've only watched The Sixth Sense twice. Once when I didn't know what it was, and two just to see if I could have put it together myself or on a second time. I would totally want to rewatch this just to see if, knowing now what we know, how that would change watching it.
See, I like to do a same day skim of the movie before we get on together. So I kind of did that, and I feel like the first way through the performances all implode.
Oh God.
Like Renee Zellweger's like she's a great actress in the in the world of this movie. If this whole time she knew that was capture.
Imagine she didn't read the whole script.
No, wait. This is even better.
And she was like,
the writers and the director were like, we want a real honest performance from you, so we're gonna withhold the ending from you.
Whoa.
Like they do that on like American Horror Story. Like Ryan Murphy will only give Sarah Paulson like the first like 3, and then he'll be like, okay,
because the rest aren't done.
True, but also he wants he wants them to be in the dark as much as well, and then that's why American Horror Story always goes into Crazy Town towards the end.
True.
Ryan Murphy watched Down with Love, and he was like, every season of my show will be like this movie.
There we go. Love that.
Love it. Love it for us. Love it for Sarah Paulson. Love it for Renee.
Yeah.
I do think Ewan's a star as well, but we don't acknowledge the men.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
How do you feel?
I feel like I'm down with love.
I feel like I'm down with love, and I want that Mad Magazine cover of Renee.
Oh, that was funny.
Hanging behind me.
We'll find it.
Yeah, I'm sure Etsy's on it. So that's what I want out of this. Yeah. And if you're a down with love head, talk to us. Talk to us on social media. We'll talk to Steven on social media. And he'll send me the screen grab in the morning.
Yeah. Wake up. Look at this.
Yeah. Should I come?
What?
Our review this week, that really glowing review we got. How excited were you when you read it?
It was such a beautiful way to wake up. So I can't wait to read everyone else's reviews going forward.
Okay, same. All right, that's it for Down with Love. Definitely don't forget to like.
How about this? If in the future,
rate, review.
If we have some more to share, we will share them next time and shout out the people who left the reviews.
Yes, we will.
We did a little TikTok shout out of all the people who left reviews so far, but there you go. This is like at LuLaRoe at the convention where they bring the people up on stage who sold 1 million leggings.
Mm-hmm. This is your bonus check.
Yeah, if you want to be a district manager, manage your district. All right.
That was really good. All right. See you next time. Bye everyone. Bye Steven.
Bye.